So let me ask you a question. Will there ever be an end to the deep state government goons indicting Donald Trump for something that for anyone else would not even be a crime, wouldn't even be a parking ticket? You know, one would think that the lesson would begin to dawn on the corrupt officials who have abused their power to focus on destroying a former and perhaps future president. Kind of like the Roadrunner always being targeted by Wile E. Coyote. Donald Trump not only survives the bombs and the bullets from the Acme munitions box, but with each indictment or baseless attack, his approval numbers and his support goes up. At the rate it's going, folks, at the rate it's going, Trump is going to be at 90% support for the GOP presidential race soon because of this. And it's not because, let's be fair, it's not because he stopped being offensive with some of his statements or tweets, but it's because the American people aren't stupid. And even all but the most partisan of political hacks can see that there truly is a disgusting double standard of justice in this country. One that applies to Donald Trump or anyone who supports him or the conservative, pro-life, pro-Israel, or America First agenda. And then a completely different standard that's applied to Joe Biden, Hillary Clinton, Hunter Biden, the leadership of the FBI or the Department of Justice, or to Democrats in Congress. When the Democrats and deep staters scream that no one is above the law, most of us double over laughing because we know that is a lie. A lot of people are clearly above the law. All I got to do is hate Donald Trump. That's the golden ticket that gets you a free ride past the jailhouse and straight into the White House. Heck, you can even show up at the White House with a bag of cocaine, and not only will you not get arrested, but law enforcement won't even try to find you. How any decent-thinking American could be okay with this disastrous government is beyond me. Now look, the elites sneer at the working-class Americans who struggle to pay their rent, groceries, gas, and utilities. And they act with contempt toward those who go to church, sweat to make a living on the farm or in the factory, and who really don't want a thing from the government except just to be left alone, to live their lives, raise their families, and not be victims of random violent crime by people who get let out every time they get arrested. Will the political bosses of Washington ever be held accountable for the contempt of the law? Or their shredding of the constitutional standards of equal justice, due process, and presumption of innocence for all? Well, I'm not sure. But I do commend the Republican members of the House who are using what is a bare majority status to try and get answers from reluctant government power players who pretend that they can't remember a thing related to a once vice president and current president arrogantly proclaiming his honesty, while a long line of credible witnesses testify under oath that he's the big guy who has taken millions in foreign money through phony business deals concocted by his deadbeat, drug-addled son, who has less business acumen than a kid selling lemonade from a card table in front of his parents' house. But what we can't do is lose heart or hope. Rising up, speaking up, and voting are some ways we can fight against the moral meltdown of this nation. We got people running the country who are supposed to be the smartest people in the room, and they hold university degrees from the finest Ivy League schools. These guys don't even know the difference between a man and a woman. And they believe that taxpayers who couldn't afford to pay for college, they ought to pay off the student debts of their doctor or their lawyer who makes more money in a year than they'll make in a lifetime. Look, I still really do feel more at home with the people at the Waffle House than those at the Opera House. I really do. I'd rather eat barbecue with construction workers any day than nibble on caviar with the Harvard faculty. And never forget that there are a whole lot more of us than there are of those who truly do believe they're just better than us. And someday, it'll be time to deliver the news to them. It's time for you to go. You've done enough damage to our country. Be gone, the whole lot of you. And don't let the door hit you where the good Lord split you.